Space Marines! Everyone loves them. Some want to change them. Those who want change, I have this to say. Stop it. Leave 40k alone and join Battletech. Because we have them here, oh yes. Genetic freaks with mammary glands and functioning ovaries. We have them. Mummy Hello and welcome to this side of the internet. Today we'll be going through Battletech's old Space Marines and also what they wear to battle, which suspiciously looks like the Zeekock. The clan's elementals. Let's begin with the soldiers themselves. The people. Elementals are 2-meter tall, genetically bred superhumans that have been juiced up to look like one of them Olympiad boys and girls. I apologize if I just violated your eyes. They can trace their roots back to Clan Hell's horses, who were experimenting with genetically engineered troops around and before the year 2868. Before, they were just enhanced normal infantry, and then they got their hands on battle armor technology. That being said though, you don't really have to be a genetic freak to be an elemental. You can be one, right? If you're a normal person, or a free birth as they're called in clan society, you can join the elementals, provided you are built differently, as is the case for Star Commander Jody. Her parents, as far as we know, are just normal miners. But Jody showed immense physical strength that apparently rivals bred and born elementals, and that got her selected into the elemental caste. Free births are looked down upon by trueborns. Trueborns are tube-born people that are considered the Ubermensch, basically. So there are prejudices against freeborns, not just in the elemental case, but all upper case as well. MechWarrior case or the pilot case. There's another free birth elemental called Star Captain Jason, who had an elemental reject or a dad. Oh yes, rejection. Being born an elemental doesn't automatically give you the privilege of becoming one. You still have to go through all the training and whatnot, and if you failed them, you get thrown out to the other castes of clan society. Jason's father joined the scientist caste after being thrown out, but most will either be put into normal infantry or just the labor caste. Elementals are somewhat looked down upon by other upper class castes, I guess, and there is a belief that is shared by basically everyone in clan society that these guys aren't really that bright up there, so there is a soft cap, I guess, to their careers at the rank of Star Commander, which is the equivalent to the rank of a Lieutenant in the Innisphere. Some do get past this rank, but those are the exceptions and not the norm, like the previously mentioned Star Captain Jason and Star Captain Hannibal Stradak. The name Elemental comes from the fact that they operate in every element: air, water, fire, earth, and space. Obviously not while naked, they still need to wear their armor in most of those places, but they would fare a lot better than normal infantry. Now, let's start with the armor, shall we? Before that,
a short view back to the past.
Every and all battle armor, current or in the future, can trace its roots back to the first ever combat exosuit, the Nighthawk. Not to be mistaken for this one. In 2700s, Jonathan Cameron, a man that can see the future, ordered the creation of powered infantry. Exosuits have existed for 700 years at this point of the timeline. 700 years, and not one person tried to weaponize exosuits until Johnny Boy came along. We're trying to make exosuit right now in the military, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So it's quite surprising that it took the Battletech universe like 700 years to make a military model. But eventually they did, and in 2720, the Nighthawk was made, and it was exclusively given or used by a special force unit called the Blackheart. There were plans to eventually mass produce it for the wider SLDF army, but unfortunately, this fat boy completely ruined the entire universe. Fast forward about 20 years later, Clan Goliath Scorpion developed an underwater suit called the Water Elemental Mining Suit, which, you can guess already, was made for underwater mining and construction use. These suits were completely sealed from the environment, had their own life support systems, and incorporated Mimir in its designs. Mimir, for those who aren't initiated yet, is a fiber used as a synthetic muscle, primarily for mech use, but they can be used for prosthetics and now power armor. Clan Wolf saw them doing underwater things, and then a light bulb popped into their heads. What if we slapped some weapons on those things? They asked themselves. So they acquired some through trade and did exactly what they said they were going to do with it. And they also slapped on some jump jets to it. They started cooking and came up with multiple designs, each specializing in different types of environments, but ultimately decided to make an all-in-one suit and thus born the Toad. The other prototypes would be further developed into their own models later on. During the first year of its life, the elemental suit was piloted by normal people, and I think it still can be, if I'm not mistaken. They were first deployed against Clan Novacat in a trial of possession. Not entirely sure what they were fighting for, but the elementals won the fight. Later on, they got into multiple trials with Clan Hell's horses, to which both sides gained knowledge of each other's technologies. The horses learned about the battle armor, and the wolves gained the knowledge on how to make muscled freaks. And here is when the modern elemental that everybody knows was born. Let's give a quick look at the design, and the similarities. Quite obvious, huh? I'm not calling it out or anything, or like a negative thing. It's just a comparison, that's all. And I have no idea if the Zegok was used as an inspiration, or if it's just like a happy little accident. I mean, the battle armor does have some extra stuff, like the rear peg there, and the right arm being like a gun, so of an arm. The second one looks slightly different, with more leg armor it seems, and an actual arm on the right, and it looks like they got rid of the rear pegs there. The third elemental, on the other hand, looks a lot more like the original one, but it's more modern and sleeker. The suit itself is built upon a 250 kilogram hard gel shell and weighs 1 ton, or 1,000 kilograms when fully equipped. Hard gel is a very rare substance that can be only found on 2 planets so far, and they are both controlled by Clan Diamond Shark or Sea Fox now. Its original state is a jelly-like substance that, through a process that I couldn't find any info on, can be hardened into a strong and rigid shape. The shell is covered in 250 kilograms of standard battle armor, and this armor is capable of surviving direct hits from mech-grade weapons like a medium laser. The visor isn't as armored. Apparently even a normal laser rifle can punch through it easily. It is a weak point, but that I ask you this. Do you know how hard it is to accurately shoot a very small target that's constantly moving? Quite hard. You can get a lucky shot, but luck isn't all that reliable. Inside the suit, you will get a heads-up display on the visor that gives the viewer a 360-degree view that is condensed to 160 degrees, so you don't have to turn your head all around that much. The wearer can control the suit's systems via looking at things and using their voice or their hands to select things, like switching to infrared. That requires you to look at the infrared option on display, and then click it, I guess, I don't know. It's like the Apple Vision Pro thing, I believe. For power, battle armor are only equipped with batteries because fusion reactors are a tad bit too big for a human-sized thing. These batteries give all battle armor around 24 hours of operational time. In the event of an injury, the hard gel that the suit is made of will actually plug up any breaches and injuries that the suit and wearer would sustain, keeping the suit sealed and stopping any bleeding. Then, the onboard life support system will drug the living shit out of the wearer to keep them up and fighting. Being power armor, of course, a wearer will have the ability to do superhuman stuff. Elementals are already superhuman, so the suit amplifies that fact even more. Under gravity, an elemental can carry up to 500 kilograms of things. They can jump 90 meters, but can only run up to 10 kilometers per hour, which is apparently the speed of an average woman. You're telling me my sister can beat this thing in a foot race? What? Pretty slow, huh? Guess that's why... Oh, that's why they're called the Toad. Because they jump around. Now it makes sense why they're called toads. I thought it was only because they look like toads. But they also move like toads because they jump around. Well, that's a mid-script reading revelation right there. But anyway, for weapons, it has 3 hard points that are customizable. You get a detachable SRM-2 pack at the back with 4 missiles total. And after shooting them, you can drop them off to help with mobility a bit. There is a hard point on each arm. The one on the right is reserved for heavier weapons, while the left one is strictly for anti-personnel weapons. Also on the left arm is a claw that is used to rip apart mechs or to hang on to omni-mechs for transport. So variants in battle armor, they don't really work the same as mechs, where you have like specific models, like the Vindicator 1, Vindicator 4, that kind of stuff. It's more really just, different weapon loadouts. That's it. They just change like the one weapon, the right arm really. But there are suits that are slightly different in a way. But I'll just list out the weapons that an elemental can carry in canon and their BV. So the base elemental armor can be equipped with a small laser, which will cost 699,000 per unit, around that number. A flamer, which will cost around 690,000 per unit. a machine gun, which will cost 693,000 per unit, a heavy machine gun, 696,000 per unit, an ER micro laser, 698,000 per unit, a micro pulse laser, 701,000 per unit, and an anti-personnel Gauss rifle, which will cost 698,000 per unit. Around those numbers. Around the year 2903, Clan Snow Raven created a space-use version of the Elemental Battle Armor. This variant removes the rear missile pack for a Space Operations Adaptation Pack, which gives the Battle Armor the ability to maneuver around in space, and also magnetizes the arms and legs. An extended life support system was installed that gives the suit 24 hours of air, and a cutting torch was installed on the left arm to cut through the hull of ships. As with the normal Elemental, the space-use version can be equipped with different weapons, such as a Flamer, 781,000 per unit, machine gun, 778,000 per unit, and a micro pulse laser, 786,000 per unit. In 3050, Clan Wolf created the Headhunter variant, which is like a deep strike version of the suit, where they would deploy them deep behind enemy lines to take out the head, the command of an army. These suits come with extra systems to help them with their headhunting missions, the removal of the SRM-2 for a power pad that gives them an extra 12 hours of charge. They also come with heat and improved sensors with a remote sensor dispenser. That's like a tripwire dispenser basically. A sensor, tripwire sensor, not a tripwire bomb. At the back, and extra tanks for the jump jets. I don't think there's a fuel system for gameplay, so I think this is more like an in-universe thing, where the jump jets use fuel instead of taking power from the reactor, because it doesn't have a reactor. That's how it works for mechs. Mechs, jump jets, they take they take all the power from the reactor and then they just shoot it out. There's a chart somewhere, I'll put it on screen, I guess. But anyway, due to its very specialized nature of the Headhunter, the right arm is equipped with a machine gun. Per unit, it costs around 906,000 sepals. Then in 3069, Clan Jade Falcon created the fire-use elemental armor for extreme heat operations. This variant removes the anti-personnel weapons mount and 2 missiles to apply fire-resistant armor, which does exactly what it says. For weapons, it carries the back-mounted SRM-2s with only a single shot for each, and the right arm can come with a Flamer, 691,000 per unit, anti-personnel Gauss rifle, 693,000 per unit, and a micro pulse laser, 696,000 per unit. In 3076, Clan Hell's Horses initiated the Elemental 2 project. The aim was to make a new standard of clan battle armor. Their work initially culminated in the Elemental 2X. The main goal was to integrate a Mimir booster system, which is similar to Mask, a temporary speed boost basically for mechs, but for the Mimir booster for the battle armor, I think it's permanently on. This does increase the speed and melee power of the suit, but at the expense of tremendous heat generation. In order to fit this as well, they had to increase the total tonnage of the suit to 1.5 ton, and reduce the jumping capabilities of the suit that basically removes the ability to attack mechs. The primary weapon carried is a micro pulse laser attached to a detachable pack, which has to be discarded in order to use the full potential of the Mimir booster. You can't run at max speed or jump with a micro pack attached, which is very weird design. The remaining 2 weapons on the arms are mainly anti-infantry weapons, with a light MG on the right arm and an auto rifle on the left arm. The limited capabilities of this prototype proved not to be wanted, and the horses would later reject this design. This prototype, if produced as is, would have cost around 1.2 million per unit. That was not the end of the second Elemental suit though. They went back to the drawing boards and redesigned it from the ground up. Being more in line in terms of weight with the original Elemental, the second armor only comes with an anti-personnel Gauss rifle on the right arm and an auto rifle on the left. The jump jets are completely removed along with its battle claws, which means it has normal hands. This makes it less capable of ripping into mechs, but with the removal of the jump jets and the rear detachable pack, the suit is capable of using the Mimir booster to its full potential and run at 46 km per hour. The suit is also designed to be easy to work on. This second Elemental is mostly used for city fighting, as the lack of jumping would make it an easier target to shoot at on an open field. And with its conventional hand design, it can travel through buildings a lot easier since they are able to use fine motions to interact with whatever it is in the building. The revised Elemental 2 would cost 768,000 C-bills per unit. Then in 3091, the Hell's Horses continued development of the Elemental and produced Elemental 3. This one is basically just a modernized 1 series. The armor is now stealth armor, and the rear detachable SRM-2s are single-shot advanced SRM-2s. Advanced SRMs have more range compared to its normal counterpart. The latest elemental can be equipped with 3 primary weapons: a flamer at 723,000 per unit, a micro pulse laser at 728,000 per unit, and an anti-personnel Gauss rifle, 725,000 per unit. When they were first encountered by the Innisphere during the Clan invasion in 3050, elementals were a huge shock. Swarms of metal humanoids not much bigger than normal infantry, jumping great heights, clinging onto and ripping things apart with their bare hands, and not being able to put them down in a single shot. Entire units of infantry mowed down by a handful, tanks and mechs ripped to shreds as they climb onto them. They were a menace. They thought they were aliens. With how they looked and moved, Victor Davion Steiner would dub them Toads, a name that eventually would be used by the entire Innisphere to refer to them. With their superior technology, tactics, and just from the suddenness of their invasion, the clans moved deep into the Innisphere, but the great houses would inevitably get their hands on the Bella armor. They sent their best and brightest to study and copy the technology, which eventually led to the creation of the Gorilla Suit, the early version of the Innisphere standard. The preferred tactic used by the clans for the elementals is to have them at first hang on to their Omnimax. Omnimax are a mech type originally developed by Clan Coyote, build mechs that are modular. This means that weapon swaps and repairs can be done a lot quicker compared to conventional mechs due to their plug-and-play design. So for example, if your gun breaks in the right arm, instead of having to, open up the armor, unscrew all the bolts and like connections to get a gun out, then you gotta install a new one, and then you gotta calibrate the computer and other things. Instead of doing all that, you can just pull the damaged gun out and just slap a new one in. In order to be able to cope with sudden changes in terms of distribution of weight and all that, Omnimax would have specialized gyros that can cope with the changes. So with this in mind, Clan Hell's horses would pioneer the tactic of having Bella armor hang onto Omnimax as they move to battle. Once they reach their point of release, they would jump off and wreak havoc. The elementals would be the catalyst to start a battle armor revolution across human space, as great houses and clans would develop different kinds of Bella armor. Some would be specialized suits, while others would be for general use. And there you go, elementals. I think a lot of Battletech fans know about these guys and just Bella armor in general, but I don't think it's as popular as or widespread as mechs. Like, we know Battletech is more than just mechs, but that's their main driving force, because people who are in the sphere, they like giant robots shooting each other. That's cooler. But I wish they would do a lot more of the other like 80% of Battletech, the 80% chunk of Battletech that not everyone knows or cares about. Like, I can honestly see like a Battlefront or like a Battlefield type of game set within the Battletech universe, and I think that's a huge chance to present the other side of Battletech to the wider community, I guess. You could have like a infantry class that you can use to introduce specific handheld weapons, maybe a support class for heavy weapons, other equipment, and maybe even vehicles like tanks and scout vehicles or whatever. And then you can have like 2 limited classes, maybe like a Bella armor class and a pilot class. That's a chance to present Bella armor to show them off, I guess. And the pilot class, that can cover both mechs and planes. Maybe the pilot class isn't limited. Maybe like it's more so that Bella mechs are limited. So maybe like per match a team can only have like a lance of Bella mechs. So that's like 4 pilots. 4 good pilots that accumulate enough points and they can spawn in their mechs or whatever. So if the pilots are, if there are people playing at pilots, they can fly maybe helicopters. That can cover the helicopters and the airplanes side of Battletech. That's pretty cool. Maybe you can have a house or a clan faction be a separate thing. Like, it's not just like a reskin. Like, maybe you have like separate weapons. Maybe like, for example, you're playing in a match. Maybe it's against Clan Wolf and Clan and Draconian's Combine, let's say. And for the Combine, you have access to different weapons. Maybe you have access to, instead of like a knife, you have a katana instead. And maybe they have like a special shotgun or something. Like something like that. And something that can make each faction unique. That is definitely a lot of work. And I feel like, casual people won't like the segregation of equipment, maybe, I guess. Like, each faction have their own thing. I'm not sure if casual people will like that, but I feel like it would be like a simple way to introduce people to each house and each clan, and what they represent, what they believe in, what's the whole shtick about. I am going on a tangent, aren't I? Whatever. That was that's the elemental armor. First dip into Bella armor. First one of many, I guess. If you like the video and would like to see more, please do subscribe and slap the like button. Hey. If you got any suggestions of what you want to see next, drop them down in the comments. That's always a good thing. Engagement, baby. Keep it up, huh? Got Twitch. That's where I stream stuff, but I stream games on Twitch, but I multi-stream, so I stream here as well. So, and then I got Discord, and join that to pump life into that server. People do chat, not every day, but sometimes, but we do chat occasionally. But other than that, take care, everybody, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya. Bye-bye.